if you look at Harvard and all these colleges, the average age would be, on the mid to late 20s. So there is a general trend, or there is a phenomena where a lot of experienced people do MBAs in India. Ultimately, unfortunately, in India, the trend is reverse. Many more people do it after their graduation. But there is a specific school of thought which says that you should work and then work, for a couple of years and then go and do your MBA. Get some on-the-job training, learn something on the job. Um, so this is the specific program that we have for experienced professionals in Gurgaon. Now, I'll just, before we begin, I'll just share from my, experience that, why I think, why, who is best suited firstly for an MBA program, which is for a one-year program. Uh, you know, there are a lot of experienced professionals out there who are eager for career progression. And I'll take some time on this from my own personal experience. There are four basic points the way I look at it. When I started my career, a lot of jobs when I started today are irrelevant. They're redundant. If I ask my viewers, have you heard of this term in banking called DSA, a direct sales agent? A lot of auto loans, credit cards was done by agents calling you up and all. But today you see that trend is shifting. Most companies are going digital. It's your digital habits on Instagram, Facebook, through which they're recommending you loans and other financial products. And going down the years, this whole profile or this agent of a DSA might just vanish. So we had a lot of sales managers looking at DSAs, and going forward, we might not have a DSA. So, going forward, you'll find a lot of profiles are disappearing. A lot of skill sets are becoming, irrelevant today. Nobody wants a journalist today. The traditional MBA journalist role, nobody wants. That's why in Soil also we make sure that, you are specializing in a particular domain, whether it is the HR, analytics, finance, or marketing. But whatever you specialize in, you have specialized skills which make you stand apart in today's world. The third thing I've realized is technology is changing very fast. There's nothing you and I can do about it. I think, what technology I used, when I used to started my career, we used to go and, we had physical loan application forms we used to fill. We used to go to clients, get them to sign application forms, manually fill their data in the application forms. Today, it all happens digitally. You just need to open your bank account app and just give your details, and there'll be a 15-minute loan given. So technology is changing very fast. Maybe in my time, there was a technology cycle of 10 years. Today, that's down to 4 to 5 years. Technology is changing very rapidly, and and our audience needs to understand this, that if they want to, be in touch with the latest technology, they need to upgrade themselves. And there is no way. And the last thing that I realized is, if I may say, that when you start working is when you actually realize your passion. Freshers, many of the freshers say, oh, I want to do this, and but when you actually start working in a job, you spend a couple of years, you actually realize your true calling. You may say that, I want to do analytics, but actually you might find the finances. I did an MBA in marketing, and I ended up spending, my entire career in finance. So you need to work, understand how the industry works, what are the skill sets, what are knowledge, and maybe 2-3 years down the line is when you actually get to know. And I'm sure many of our participants today would be doing an MBA because they would have realized that their true calling or their true career is somewhere else. They want to make a shift, which is why they want to do an MBA with us, and which is perfectly okay, I think, and I'm very happy that they realize that. So experienced professionals, and who can maximize, how do we help these people? So we have a condensed curriculum, 10 to 12 months. You guys already have a lot of on-the-job training. You're not a fresher, so I don't need to start from you with scratch. You already have a certain level of understanding, a certain level of skill set, a certain level of aptitude. We just need to build on that. So we have a condensed curriculum, but having said that, condensed means it is very thorough. We cover all nuances, and it's very, very fast-paced. So just because it's 1 year doesn't mean it's very fast paced, and we expect you to keep pace because you have work ex. I'm sure in your work environment, you would have worked on projects, you would have worked on sales deadlines, you would have worked on internal debt. So this course is very fast. It's on keeping you on your toes. It has lots of immersive learning. So when I say immersive learning, We are not only talking about classroom learning. Classroom is just a small fraction of what you learn. You have peer-to-peer learnings. We encourage you to learn through your colleagues because you will have a diversified batch. You might be sitting with someone next to who's worked maybe in a power plant in Chhattisgarh. A person on your right could be someone who would and maybe have worked in TCS, and you could be someone who could have come from a consumer durable or maybe a fintech company. So it's peer-to-peer learning, classroom learning. We have industry sessions, you have live projects. In fact, as we speak today, the chief marketing officer of Noise is in our campus because we have a project where we are providing actual solutions to Noise on their real world problem, which is being presented by students. So the projects that we do are real time projects which actually benefit the company. So we have Mr. Gaurav Mehta, the CMO, currently on campus, and we are presenting to him solutions to problems that Noise is actually facing today. I'm sure I don't need to explain what Noise is, as a company. It takes less time for you, okay, off work. Also, there is a better learning, because you've already worked. You want to get back to your work. Obviously, you're giving up a career for a year. There's a cost involved. We understand that. You need to balance your academic requirements, your career ambitions, obviously with time management. Yeah, Nida, let's move ahead. So our curriculum, like I said, is tailored. And how do we come up with a curriculum? Let me spend, every year. Now we've just started the process for next year. We have an industry board. We sit with industry professionals where we go to them and we ask them what are the latest skill sets that are needed today. We go to them and we ask them what are the new job profiles which are expected in near future. See, we're not only planning for next year, we're planning not only for next year for a couple of years. So we go and speak to them. We have an academic board. So whatever skill sets we get from industry, these need to be converted into academic courses. We work onto that. And ultimately, then we convert these academic courses into learning outcomes that how do you benefit. So setting up a curriculum is not an easy job, especially for experienced professionals because one, the nature of the batch changes every year. In a 2-year program, you mostly have freshers. So I know I'm going to get freshers. But here I don't know. Every batch is different for me. So I need to be ready for them and I need to have a tailor-made curriculum for them. So that's one. The courses that build on your professional background, that's very important. Yesterday we were talking about with someone from Accent, generative AI is something which is coming up. So if you guys are going to be joining us next term, I think generative AI is something that we are going to be talking about a lot with you. Yeah. So we need these courses. There are real world case studies. We have a tie-up with Harvard. So there are case studies available in Harvard. Almost every course will have case studies on them. And case studies look easy, but let me tell you, they are they're open-ended and they give you very good insights. So you need to case studies. We will look at a lot on case studies. We also have a lot of, analytics, which is done through software. So there's a lot of hands-on, teaching that happens. We also look at a lot of modules which are taught by industry practitioners. So, AIML, which is artificial intelligence, machine learning, or if you're looking at courses like project finance or whatever, these are taught by industry experts. We feel that these courses are best taught by industry experts because they are in tune with the latest trends, because these are very application oriented courses. A lot of courses on brand penetration. So there's a course on brand penetration. We have someone from industry coming and teaching us because we feel that this is a very, practitioner oriented course. So courses are a mixture of both. You have academicians, you have practitioners, we have module based courses. So the curriculum is very rigorously trained. And this is how, the structure goes. We have term one, and in the term one, we go on fundamentals. Now, over the years, many students have asked me that, we are people with experience. So why do you teach us theory? आप हमें theory क्यों पढ़ाते हो? This is a very question I've got from a lot of this thing that, experiential learning. We do experiential. So term 2 and term 3 are totally experiential learning and application-based learning. Term 1 is where we look at the fundamentals. Please understand, like I said, it's important that you understand theory first. And I'll give you a very simple example. If you've been in tune with what is happening in the, in the economy today, I'm sure over the past 2 years, you would have known that the RBI has raised interest rates consistently at every quarter. I think there's almost been a 200 basis point increase in more than that, in various tranches. Now, why has the RBI been increasing interest rates? Because inflation has increased. So there is, and if you go in economics, there's an economic theory which says when inflation is high, you need to raise interest rates to look, that is one thing. So for any action that you take on the job, there is always an academic theory behind. Now you either follow that theory or you take a contrarian view to the theory. So the RBI sometimes says that we should have increased, but we will not increase. But theory is important for you to understand. Now, if you're looking at strategy, now if you want, do you diversify in strategy or do you stick to your core business? Now, how do you take a decision? Because there are some strategic application theories which will help you decide. So theory is important, and we look at term one on that. So we give you also it helps us. Theory helps us, because you're a diversified branch. It helps us bring you all on one platform. So there'll be many of you who would be engineers. You'll be very good in numbers, but when it comes to finance, many of you might initially struggle, not know much about it. When I look at BCom graduates, the reverse happens. On quantitative techniques, they are not very comfortable, but on accounting, they're very good. So term one is getting you all together, getting these basics right. Term two, term three is where we focus on application. So we have a major minor. You can choose major and minor subjects in the BLP. HRLP is a very separate templated program where you don't have major minors. We have a fixed program. But in the business learning program, we have major and minor. So you can take a major in analytics and a minor in finance if you want to work in a new age startup or in a new age fintech. So and a lot of these subjects are new age. So even in HR, we do a lot of new age technology based subjects. So we have HR analytics, we have new age AI for HR managers. Again, in finance, we have financial analytics. In finance, we have fintech and BFSI. So the specialization subjects, like I said, are in tune with latest requirements. Okay. Term three is where we have leadership workshops and all. We have a very interesting module on, theater. So we have 5 days of theater, where, Lucian Dubey, I'm sure you know, she's a noted theater personality. Normally she comes and she conducts a workshop. Now the advantage of theater, a lot of us are very apprehensive about speaking in front of crowd. It's a great communicator. It really helps you stand out in a crowd and come up with your enemies. So something called freedom from fear, we'd call it out. So that's our curriculum for you. Nirja, let's go ahead. How does it benefit for you? So, I've talked about academics, jobs going. Uh, there is and I said, there's another part, which is the economic part. There is, you're giving up a salary, which you are working to come here for spend a year with us so that you can add value and go back. And so if you're here for a year, there is a lower economic cost for you. Obviously, 2-year MBA. I'm not saying a 2-year MBA is bad. A 2-year MBA is good if it suits you, but for experienced professionals, we would say a 1-year MBA is more better because it's a lower opportunity cost combined with the same level of academic excellence that you would have gotten in 2 year. You start earning in 1 year and in 2 year. There is no issues. You higher growth and acceleration because of an MBA. You are just away for a year, so you can straight away add on. A 1-year program generally is where you can switch to a different role. Because besides the traditional MBA management roles, we also get roles which are known as lateral. So let me explain what a lateral role is. A lateral role is where you don't start as a management trainee. You A company gives you the benefit of your experience and gives you a position which is in tune with your experience. So if you're a 5-year experience or a 4-year experience, obviously you wouldn't want to go back as a management trainee. You would like to build on your previous 4 or 5 years experience. So in a lateral, we try and place you with your 5-year, 4 years experience so that your previous experience doesn't go waste. And that's very important. Please, many of you have some experience over here and you wouldn't want that experience of yours to go waste. So in a lateral experience, it is beneficial that we try and place you where your previous year's experience is given benefit. I'll give you an example. In HR, maybe many of you might have, would be engineers and have industry experience. Or if you're in HR, many of you might have a law experience. Both of these are relevant to HR. So you would like to, build on that experience and move forward. So we try and get you the benefit of that experience, which is where your lateral placement comes into the picture. Yeah, Neela, let's move on. These are some of our alumni. Like I said, we have 1,000 plus alumni. They worked in a lot of companies. Many of them, they've risen to the rank on these companies. They have moved abroad. Some of them working in India. So I think, and I'm sure each of you would be in touch with a career counselor who would have guided you through the admission process. Uh, if you would like to speak to any particular alumni or discuss with them, the career counselor can take you forward. You just need to be in touch with them, and they can take you forward. And I'm sure many of our alumni would be more than happy to share their experiences, learnings, how they benefit from soil with you. Yeah. And this is just a summary of what I said. Faculty, like I said, we have an academic as well as an industry faculty. We have a career development center where we work on you. Oh, career development is very important, because we are in a 1 year program. Besides your classes, you also get exposure to a lot of career development activities. And I think Nirja is part of the team, and she, uh, she's, you'll be, interacting a lot with her, because you have personality tests, you have aptitude tests which companies conduct, you have psychometric tests. That's one part. You have group discussions. You have interviews, and please remember, in an executive MBA, even the person who's recruiting you expects that you will have that level of knowledge and maturity. So while you start preparing, we also ensure you're ready for that. So we have a career development team which is taken care by Nirja, and she would be interacting with you. We also have a workshop where we work on your strengths, and we have a mentoring project where you are assigned a mentor. He helps you identify your strengths and weaknesses and helps you work on that. Yeah. We curriculum I've already spoken. I won't, I think enough. We are industry net. So this is a summary of what we have done. We do. It's a multifaceted. There are multiple touch points on which we work with you in terms of many. And so I think day after is the application deadline. I'm sure many of you, like I said, you already would be in touch with your career counselors. You have any queries, you're more than welcome to speak to them. You have any queries, you're more than welcome to reach out to me uh, on anywhere through the career counselors on LinkedIn, anywhere. And I think we would be more than happy to. Now, maybe if they have any questions, Nija, we'd more than happy to take them.
Absolutely. So there's a common question that has come in the Q&A section, even asked by KK Mishra. That is there any specific eligibility criteria in terms of work experience, which you had even clarified at the beginning, but anything that they can keep in mind? And the same asked by Atharv, whether 12th standard marks, is there any eligibility criteria?
Arja, Nija, sorry, could you repeat? There was some disturbance.
Right. Sir, there were questions related to the eligibility criteria, even though you had mentioned that it's a profile-based selection, but still they were a little curious to know whether there is any eligibility criteria. Besides that, for the BLP program, they require a specified 2 year work experience. Is there anything else which needs
Okay,
to be
so two
factored
parts.
in?
I'll take these both separately. For the BLP, we insist on a minimum 2 year program, a 2 year work ex. That is mandatory. For the HRLP, we generally take candidates with 2 year with experience. Sometimes, very rarely, basis their profile and other experience, we do take candidates below 2 year experience, but then they need to have some relevant experience, or their academic qualification needs to stand out. Okay, so that's part of the academic. For the other part, so we accept all test scores like CAT or NMAT, and we have our own internal test for STAT. Okay, so they need to give the test STAT. There is a group exercise on the day of the selection process, and along with that, I think there's a personal interview that we do in terms of a. But see, we are looking for people who one fit into the soil philosophy, and also who we feel, that when they come to soil, that we can add value to them, and they themselves are keen learners in this process.
Absolutely. Sir, if somebody is having a family business, would they be eligible? Will that be counted as a relevant experience for the BLP program?
Okay, now this is very common FAQ we get now. What has happened over the years is, a lot of companies have started to insist on, when you're talking of WorkX, a number of specific documents. One of them is a salary slip. Second, they insist on a salary credit in your bank statement, no cash salaries. Thirdly, they ask for a Form 16, in addition to an experience letter. So there are many now. If now in this case, if you have a family business, uh, can you show anything that you've been working on this? So I'll give you an example. There's a current student who was an entrepreneur, and he had an entrepreneur business in his own name. So he had a GST in his own name, and he could show the company that, look, I have a GST in my name, and I have got certain grants. So he had documentation to support. So if you have any documentation to support this, we'll be more than happy to. So this is not a primary requirement for us, but companies do want this. When you sit for placements, this is a mandatory requirement.
Absolutely. So there are some specific questions as well. Can we address those also?
Sure.
So there's KK Mishra asking that he's been working with Indigo Paints Private Limited as a sales manager ever since April 2022. So can he be considered?
Uh, I assume that he's looking for BLP. Okay, right? Now,
Yes.
The course begins in May 24, so he would have completed 24 months. So I'm sure he would be taken.
That's great. Any criteria Tharv Kale is asking when it comes to your 10th and 12th marks?
Okay, now again in a 12th and 12th, what happens is that most of the IT companies insist on 60%. So if you're looking at any of the IT companies, if you want to sit for the IT companies, they insist on 60% all throughout, through your 10th, 12th, and graduation. But if you're looking for any other profile, bankings, consumer companies, new age startups, you're more than welcome.
Absolutely. So Trishan is asking, what is the key core difference, the curriculum difference between the 1 year and the 2 year program?
Okay. See, in terms of one is there are two, three things. One, if you look at a 2 year program, it has a summer training. We don't have a summer training. Okay, we work more on the job projects. Okay. Secondly, what happens is that in a 2 year program, the course is spread over 2 years. So you do about 1,080 hours in about 2 years. Here we cover almost 900 hours, but in 1 year. So, like I said, in terms, we're not going to compromise on academic this thing, but here it's a very high, pace. Thirdly, in a 2 year, what happens is a course is generally 30 hours. Here, a course is about 24 hours because we know you already have the work, so you don't need that basic theory part, which we teach in every course. So, in 2 years, a 30-hour course. Here we have a 24-hour course. So, more or less, the structure is the same. It's more compact, but in terms, it's more fast paced. So.
Right. So there is also a question by Krishna Vyas. Krishna is asking, is there dual specialization for the PGPM program, the BLP program, like marketing and analytics? And if yes, then will business analytics be taught from the basics, or is there
we have a major minor? We don't have dual. We have a major minor. You could take a marketing major and business analytics major, and a major, or take. So we have a major minor. Analytics. See, there is no specific requirement for analytics. I've realized if you're good with numbers, you're good with numbers. And I mean, many people, students in a batch who take analytics are those who have taken BCom, or done a BSc. So there is no hard and fast requirement that you have to be an engineer. It is your choice. If you're comfortable and you're capable, you're more than welcome.
Absolutely. There are specific questions also if the 12th standard marks are less than 60%, and will that affect the placements? Even though, sir, you've answered this, that IT companies, it will be a little difficult, but otherwise.
In IT companies, some IT companies do insist on it. Okay. But otherwise, not generally, no, not for other.
All right, right. There's also a question if somebody's coming, this is Pavan asking that if they're coming with 4 years of experience in the civil engineering background, would this 1 year program help him?
I need to understand that what does he want to do? See, you've got a civil engineering background. You're good with numbers. What is it that he wants to do? Is for me, that is very clear. Then we need to be clear. In general, if you ask me, yes, a lot of our batch is engineers, and they have benefited by a salary jump. One, they've benefited by better profiles. They've also benefited by shifting their careers, maybe moving out of engineering or engineering related code. So they have benefit. Now the question specific needs to be that what is that he is looking at.
Absolutely right. So we need a little bit. Yeah, he's saying I want to switch my career into MBA. But Pavan, you'll have to be a little more distilled. Maybe you can, think over it so that Sir can help you better. So there's another question that the student KK Mishra, he's into dealer handling, channel distribution. How can the program benefit him to pivot his career?
Okay. Now again, um, see the question again I'm coming with that. Uh, what is he looking at? Like I said, there are multiple touch points. Is he looking at an increase in a salary that he wants to get into? Is he looking at a specific profile that he wants to get into? You'll have, but like I have said, that he has a dealer management profile. So he's got good knowledge of sales and distribution. So in S&D, so we have a lot of companies like Aisha, Volvo. We have companies which have come, even Royal Enfield today came. So there are a lot of if you want to only look at dealer distribution. Now I'm talking of these old dealer distribution. You have a lot of old sector companies also which look at people across these sectors. At middle management roles. So if he wants to work on his dealer distribution network, he could go at a middle management role in these old school companies or old sector companies, or he could use the dealer management role and maybe look at project management roles in IT companies or somewhere.
Right. And so Pavan has also distilled his choice that, he wants to get into operation and project manager roles. So would that be fine if in case
So
he's
project manager roles are not an issue because we get a lot of IT companies and all which have projects. So that's not an issue.
all right. There's also a question around what are the typical averages being offered for both the PGPM and PGDM programs?
So since we've not released our internal placement book for last year, it was 11 lakhs for the PGPM program. For the PGDM, I'll have to check because I'm responsible for the PGP. I don't want to comment on the PGDM program. And since we're only talking about PGP, for the PGP last year it was 11 lakhs. And this year, normally there is always a growth. So we'll have to wait for the interim report. But as of now, it was 11 lakhs.
Will somebody, this is Prashant asking that if somebody is having articleship experience, will that be
No,
considered a part of work experience?
no.
No.
Articleship training is not considered as full time.
Absolutely right. If somebody has not given an entrance, Arun is asking, will they be eligible to apply
So
for
they
the
can give the STAT exam, which is the MBA exam, STAT exam, which is our own exam. They can give that, and if they qualify for that, they could be selected.
Absolutely. So Krishna is asking that what are some skills that Soil is looking for in the applicant if he wants to take up particularly business analytics as major and minor as marketing?
Okay, so the STAT exam that gives you that you give, it throws us interesting features of your personality. So that's a big guide. So if the STAT exam shows that you don't have a quantitative aptitude, maybe you need to look at something else. So I think what we're looking at people who have the right bent of mind for analytics, people who have a quantitative aptitude, people who are comfortable with analytics. That's it. We're not looking at some. See, please, we're getting these analytics questions. Analytics is not some superhuman specialization. Okay, many people take it. It's perfectly great if you are willing for it, if you are comfortable for it. If you think you can do justice to it, you can. So what you could do if you could take it as a minor, maybe not as a major. Then, if you don't want to do it in a way, you have that option. So just a bent of mind and and the right ability to learn. That's it you need.
Absolutely. So there's a genuine concern by Arun Kumar. He's saying that how easy it is for somebody who's coming with 5 years of work experience to pivot to another industry
Okay.
after the program.
Okay. Again, you need to be very specific, Arun. What is your experience in, and what is it that you want to do? Because these are two very important things. So Arun, if you could just type in and what is your experience in, and
I think Sir Arun is going to be typing, and there's another question that there's a candidate called KK Mishra. He's having an offer from Exide Industries, with much better hike than Indigo with better
I
profile. So what should he do? Should he take a switch for academic, or should he take the job?
no. There are two. See, that's a call that he needs to take with the very limited information that he's given us. See, it's about what you would like to do. I cannot see because I don't know your current salary, and I don't know what you want to learn. Uh, See, please remember, soil is not just a short-term journey. Obviously, I know when you come, you will get a salary hike. Most people get a 2.5, 3x salary, 2.5 to 2.5, let's put it this way. But what I get is this looks to be more like don't look at like a transactional journey, which is what you seem to be looking at. Ki main bas ek salary hike that is not the objective. You see those alumni over the years, they have achieved a lot. So while you'll get a good salary, you'll get a good profile, you'll get a good learning, you will also benefit in the long term. You have to look at that. If we're not a placement agency ki wahan se better mila to yahan, that is that. Please don't come for that. So if you are helping, please, if you're helping you change your sector, it is also through a process of learning and guidance. That is more important. Please don't just look at the outcome. Outcome is important, but the journey is important. I think that's what most of you are just looking at the outcomes. The outcomes will happen. I'm sure for Arun, this gentleman, he might get a hike in the company Exide also. He might get a hike with us also because that's what students do. The question is, does he want a single, does he want a learning single or he wants to be a transactional person? If he wants to be transactional, please take the hike with Exide.
Right, absolutely well encapsulated. So that the journey, and eventually you'll hit there, but you'll have to be a little
Please
patient.
remember, Neeraj, most people realize that life is a marathon. When I was in Kotak, I was in a session with Mr. Uday Kotak, and he said life is a marathon. So you will have your ups and downs, but it's the journey that matters. Till the age of your retirement age. So we don't look at it as transactional. I'm still saying not, and again I'm saying that doesn't mean that we'll not prepare you and will not make you a better person. In any manner, but the journey is important. And I think those alumni are testimony to this. I again keep coming back to that.
Absolutely, and garnering mentorship with from people like yourself, sir.
Yes, and if I think we forgot to mention, we also have a lot of international tie-ups. With Shizenkan in university in Japan. We do this year. Our students were digitally part of two courses. One is global strategy, which our students attended for their campus. Secondly, there was a course on digital transformation, which our students attended online through them. And so that is this thing. So and we have a tie-up with the university in Italy, Milan University. So it's important that we look at it.
Absolutely. So, what kind of strategy roles would be available for students after their MBA typically is what KK Mishra is asking.
See, strategy is a very broad word. So we have digital strategy. We have roles on, so we had a lot of roles on digital strategy this year in terms of those. So I think more on terms of digital strategy, we get roles in terms of those are the type of roles that we get.
Right. So, considering we've almost exhausted all the questions, any last minute tips and tricks that you'd like to definitely tell the aspirants so that they can definitely leverage those and try to crack the interviews?
I think very important thing here is that please be very clear on your work ex. Many students stumble on their work. You're people with experience. So you need to be very clear on what your work ex is. Many people are not able to explain. So if I ask, what was your outcomes? If I were to ask, what achievements did you do? So your work ex needs to be very clear, one. And two, also you need to be very clear, I think, which is very evident, why you want to do an MBA specifically. I think a lot of students seem to be looking at for monetary benefits. Nothing wrong with that. But you need to look beyond that in terms of your long-term benefits, what you will benefit on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great. I think that's a wrap. You can reach out to Sir. Sir, I hope we can also connect with you. They can connect with you on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. They can connect with me on LinkedIn. They can connect any way they want to. I'll be more than happy to take and answer the question.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you so much, sir. And thanks, everyone. I think all of you have addressed all your questions. Still, if there are any other doubts that you're having, please feel free to, get connected with sir, or you can also reach out to the admissions team. You can reach out to Subesh as well as Anisha, as well as the admissions team altogether. Yes, KK, that's there. Jhasa is also here only. Great. Thanks, everyone, for
Yes,
joining.
Dr. Jha is still here, but he's in the 2-year campus.
Yes. Yes, sir. Great. Thank you so much, sir, for
Thank you.
your time. And thanks, everyone, for joining us as well.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay.
And thanks, Harsha and the team, for helping us with the webinar. Thank you.